Okay, now we're going to do Best Christian Art. We're on a new chapter now. We're on chapter 9. This is a book by Peter Rogers. That's me. The chapter 10 is Middle Ages, Dante, and Chivalry. Okay, so the first painting here is The Favorites of the Roman Emperor Honorius. And this is by John William Waterhouse. And this guy was another one of these mediocre emperors who was sort of part demented. He used to talk to his chickens. And, that's not an uncommon thing that when a country is collapsing, they've got a demented or half demented so-called ruler who's really a puppet of one of the aristocrats' groups. So it's kind of sad, but it seemed to have a lot of contemporary significance. If you study the fall of Rome and the decline of Rome, you see a lot of parallels to the current USA. And I can remember also, if you go to Amazon, it was hard to find. Like I read some books about the fall of Rome, and I read a critique of Gibbon's history of the fall and decline of the Roman Empire, and it took me a long time to find it. It was like it was hidden on Amazon. It's almost like they don't want the public to know about these sorts of things. Okay, this is a painting called The Vandals Sacking Rome in 455 AD by Karl Bryullov from 1852. And yeah, it was pretty awful and brutal. I mean, especially the second time around. First time around, they kind of spared a lot of the stuff in Rome. They wanted to negotiate, but afterwards it got worse and worse, and Rome was really destroyed. They kind of a lot of times label 476 sort of the end of the Roman Empire, the beginning of the Middle Ages. And then we had the rise of chivalry. And in particular, there was King Arthur. King Arthur was thought to have been a knight, like let's say in Britain, who had, or one of the surrounding countries, who had fought with the Romans and knew the Roman battle techniques, but was at the same time, a Celt. And here he is, King Arthur at the Round Table with all his great knights. And this really took off once, the French started writing their versions of the King Arthur Round Table Knights and adding a lot of romance to it. And there's the Holy Grail. Oh, by the way, one thing I would say about this book, out of like all my books that I've written, and I've written like about 20 books, this one is the one that's most popular with most people. Best Christian Art. I can tell you, like, if people come to my house, they all want a copy of this book. I can also tell you, when I talk to my other people about my book, they all want to look at this one. They want to give one to their friend. It's a beautiful book. And the reason I mention that is the contrast on YouTube. This book is, I think it's shadow banned. It gets hardly any views. Hardly anyone knows about it. And maybe because it's so beautiful. I mean, it's the most beautiful book. I've had people say to me, oh, you finally wrote a book that we would like to look at. And, because not many people are interested in all this advanced concepts in nutrition and disease. And not many people care that much about study skills and writing techniques and all this other stuff in my other books. But it seems that lots of people really love a beautiful art book. And there's nothing like this art book. I wouldn't have made it unless I knew it was unique. The college professors are a bunch of low IQ conformist wimps. They're phonies, okay? They make their art books all this, cave paintings and then modern art. They pretend it's real. It's a whole bunch of nonsense. I just took the best masterpiece painting. So anyways, that's the way it is. This is The Vigil by John Petty. And the paintings are just beautiful. And this reminds me of the song Simple Man. The next one is going to be The Accolade. I got like an artifact on my screen making it a little hard to read. So here's The Accolade by Edmund Layton. And it's just beautiful. The chivalry was very noble. And chivalry, comes out of Christianity and has a very much of a civilizing effect on society. Okay, it's good for society. There's a lot of rules for a knight to obey. They don't always obey them, but they know what they're supposed to do, and that makes society better. And here's another one. This one is The Dedication, again by Edmund Layton, who was a magnificent artist, just magnificent. Look how just absolutely beautiful that painting is. And each knight errant would have their own lady who they sort of aspired to please, whether or not their wife. Almost like the ladies at court was a little bit different thing. They do things for her honor or to please her. So it wasn't like she was their girlfriend or anything. It was just a woman who they sort of admired. there's a lot of cool things about chivalry. I'm currently reading Don Quixote, which is kind of a crazy book, but emphasizes chivalry a lot. And here is Sir Galahad, you know, getting suited up by a lady here. And there's obviously a funny connotative, almost a joke related to this picture. But the idea was Galahad the Pure is all in white, and he was the one morally worthy to find the Holy Grail. And, you know, I love the Celtic cross in the background. Kind of incorporates the sign of the sun, the sign of eternity. Makes it more sturdy. It's beautiful. This painting was by Herbert Gustav Schmaltz, 1881. And again, here's Sir Galahad the Worthy going to find his Holy Grail. This one by Arthur Hughes. Here's Guinevere and Lancelot by Herbert Draper. This one is Sir Galahad at the Castle with the Maidens by Edward Austin Abbey. And that one, there was a joke about that in Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Here is a painting of My Fair Lady by Edmund Layton. You know, just absolutely beautiful paintings. You can see the emotion, the accuracy, the realism. It's all spectacular. And here's Tristan and Isolde. Actually, we'll do Tristan and Isolde next time. So that's just getting us started. That was part one of the paintings of the Middle Ages and chivalry. Hope that was enjoyable for you.